Ah, Spawn. Todd McFarlane really made himself a classic comic book series there, didn't he? Who could forget all those great characters like Angela, the Violator, Cog, Sam and Twitch? And how about... wait, what was that? You don't know who Spawn is? Well, great. That's ruined the whole review now. Thanks! This is why our relationship isn't working out, YouTube. No, come on, please, don't cry. You know I start crying when you cry and... Okay. How can I explain the whole concept of Spawn to you very quickly?
So basically, comic books were enjoying themselves in the 80s and having a pretty swell time when suddenly Watchmen came along and was all like, oh hey guys, you enjoying your complex themes, character-driven storytelling and symbolism? Because I sure am! And so all the comics were kind of like, well shit, what do we do? This guy's making us look bad. And one of them was like, I know! We get darker, and edgier, and darker, and edgier, and darker, and edgier! And eventually all the darkness and edginess popped out in the form of Spawn in 1992, while Judge Dredd was just kind of sitting in the corner ranting about fish and chips and how he did all this first.
And McFarlane really whored out the series in the 90s. You know, there was a live-action film, there was an animated series, there was even a comic book crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not joking about that. But most importantly, there were some video games! And today we're going to be looking at the very first Todd McFarlane Spawn for the Super Nintendo, made by Acclaim. Kick it!
So it goes like this. Several children have been kidnapped, including Cyan, who is Spawn's ex-wife's child. Yeah, he had a wife, long story. Anyway, so Spawn goes on a journey through New York to save them. Okay then, sounds pretty good. Let's start level 1 and oh dear. Is that happening? Is that what it looks like? Spawn's presence is so threatening that the villains just jump from the building like lemmings.
You know what? I don't even need to play this game. Why bother slaying legions of evil when they're just gonna slay themselves for me, eh? You know what? I'm gonna go get a drink.
Okay, but seriously, this is not a good first impression to make. Thankfully, once I get past that, I notice the graphics are absolutely gorgeous. Spawn's well animated, everything looks large and detailed, there are some pretty neat special effects, and the characters seem to pop out compared to the background, which is something not enough 16-bit games did. Even the cutscenes look pretty, since they look a lot like the comic and all, so props to the game on that. Unfortunately, the game's also ridiculously repetitive. Walk right, beat up some guys, walk right, beat up some guys, walk right, kill your family, beat up some guys. Rinse and repeat ad infinitum. That kind of formula works well in Capcom's old beat-em-ups like Final Fight, but it felt satisfying in those, whereas Spawn feels so weak. Maybe it's to do with the noises. I mean, these piffs and swishes sound so pathetic. Even the 60s Batman sound effects would be more dynamic. I'm kind of mixed about the sound design generally. The instruments and all are good, but the music has some of the most ham-fisted melodies ever composed. Listen to the main riff of Stage 2. So anyway, Spawn's got this power bar in the top right that starts at 9,999, and that has to last you the whole game. It drains a little if you die, but if you want to spice up your gameplay, you can also use some of it up on one of his many special moves. Nah, just kidding. The inputs here make JoJo's Bizarre Adventures combos look like child's play, and most enemies only die in 1 or 2 hits, so you'll be lucky if you even realise you have these moves, let alone utilise them. But hey, I'd take them any day over these bits. Oh lord, the wall jumping sections. They try to make it like Mega Man X, where it's speedy, and they even try to speed you up by making this crosshair follow you and try shooting you. But there's a problem. Spawn's wall jumping is awful. Let's compare with Mega Man X, shall we? When X latches onto a wall, you get a little sound effect as a little noise confirmation. Spawn doesn't do that. When X is sliding down the wall, you get little dust particles as reinforced visual confirmation. Spawn doesn't do that either. Instead, most of the time you end up gliding against the wall like a retard because it's incredibly hard to tell when he's ready to wall jump, and on top of that you want to move quickly so that you don't get shot. It's a complete contradiction of itself and just works badly. Uh-oh, here comes the boss, watch out, he might use the same 3 attacks for 10 minutes and be a general damage sponge. I would talk about the bosses more, but to be honest they're all pretty much the same. They all have an incredibly obvious and boring pattern, but each one seems cheaper than the last. I mean, look at Redeemer. This is the second boss and already he's spamming a move that takes half my life bar in one go. Meanwhile, he can take 50 billion kicks in the face from me, because he's an asshole like that. Clay, you watching this? Good, because I want to tell you something.
This isn't fun game design, you schmucks. This is boring old filler. It doesn't add a challenge or anything. It doesn't make me feel good once I've beaten it. It just stops me from experiencing the rest of the game. It makes me want to take out the cartridge and play something else. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. How about we play some Bronchi the Bronchiosaurus instead?
Okay, so maybe it's not as boring as that, but it's incredibly close. So after a while, you find out that a man known only as the Mad One is draining the children's innocence in order to create a magic orb capable of overthrowing Malabolgia, the King of Hell and creator of the Hellspawn. But instead it backfires on him and Malabolgia manages to take the orb and create a new breed of Hellspawn that comes out of nowhere to feed on the innocent. So Spawn defeats it, taking ages to do so, and saves the day. But wait! What's this? Malabolgia has a gift to give to Spawn. Oh yes, it's not over yet. He gives him even more life, when the one thing Spawn wants more than anything is to just finally die. Yay! So, final thoughts on this game. The story is bland, the gameplay is repetitive, the special moves are useless, wall jumping is a mess, the bosses are cheap, the music sounds like it was composed by an idiot, but screw all that because the game looks bloody fantastic. Yeah, no, this is a pretty awful game. Stay away from it unless you're an absolute massive fan of Spawn. Even then, Spawn Armageddon's a ton better. Actually, go play that game, it's pretty good. Tons better than this pile of crap at least. Hey guys, hopefully I'll get this right this time, but thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to my channel for more reviews, top 10s, and an upcoming game versus game feature. And if you like, follow the link in the description and visit our Facebook page too. Hell, maybe even like that. It really means a lot to us, so cheers. Bye bye now.